licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday here at noon on YouTube. And then I posted up to Facebook of the same name. I have a guest with me today. Her name is Leslie Rowan. We will get into that in just a moment. She's awesome. We're going to be talking about reflexology, yoga nidra, and other modalities that help with PTSD, CPTSD, anxiety, depression, and more. So there is that. Let me blast through all of the announcements. So March 21st in Washington, D.C., somebody changed it back to the old one of the baked joint. It is not a baked joint. It is Union Station. I will be meeting you guys at Union Station in the food court in front of the Dunkin' Donuts. So that will be where we are meeting on March 21st in Washington, D.C., Union Station in front of Dunkin' Donuts in the food court. April 18th is a private residence in New York City. June 13th is London at Federation Coffee. June 13th also later in the day is at St. Paul's House in Birmingham. Then on June 14th, we have Manchester, which is Talk Coffee. And then June 20th is going to be Edinburgh. So if you are in those places and you wish to come see me, please sign up at Eventbrite. Go to Mercury Eventbrite, and that will be that. Awesome. Okay, so diving into today's topic. I met this lovely lady. She contacted me and she said, hey, I've done work with SWIHA, right?
Yes.
Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, which is amaze balls. I've done yoga there. I love it. There used to be a teacher called Poe. Did you ever meet her?
No.
Oh, she was awesome. She was awesome. Anyway, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts. That's a great place to go. It's in Tempe. Mm-hmm. And Leslie Rowan is amazing. So introduce yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leslie Rowans. I am a holistic health practitioner, and I am also a professor at Arizona State University. I teach health science courses, but I'm also a certified reflexologist and hypnotherapist as well too, and soon to be yoga nidra practitioner as well too. So I'm super excited to be on. Thank you so much, Chris, for having me on.
You're very welcome. So a lot of our listeners have gone through domestic violence. It's either been physical, emotional, or both. And so they end up having a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. And I want you to talk about the different modalities that can help them with all of that. So
sure,
which one do you want to start with?
Well, I'll start with reflexology because that's really where it started for me. And I always let people know how I got started in reflexology. It's really funny. I tell people that I discovered reflexology on the back of a pink school bus. And really short story, a friend of mine had a business she was running where she would take people all over the city of Phoenix. And it was on a pink bus. And we were celebrating her 1-year anniversary of being in business. And on the back of the bus was a woman who was offering reflexology services. So I went on the back of the bus to get a cupcake, right? And just to see what the bus was all about. And I was inquisitive and I wanted to know what was she doing. And so I thought, can I be next? And so just for 15 minutes, she worked on my feet. And but afterwards, she said to me, you know, I got a lot of good positive energy from you, right? From that experience. But one of the things I picked up on was that you should love yourself more. And I thought to myself, I love myself. I thought I did. I love myself. And so then I really became inquisitive around how did you get all of that from just working on my feet? And so I booked an appointment with her. And for the next 2 years, every 2 weeks, I was on her table working on myself. And I learned that I was not loving myself the best that I could. I was dealing with a lot of stress in my job at the time. I worked in corporate healthcare America, and I was not dealing with my stress very well, and it was having an effect on my body, my physical body. And so through reflexology, I then learned about how important it is to relax. And reflexology will definitely help you to relax. So what reflexology is, it is similar to massage. It is a modality under massage therapy, but in the state of Arizona, you don't require to have a massage therapy license to practice reflexology. It is exempt because we mostly focus on the feet, the hands, and the ears. And it's based off of the principle where we have reflex points at the bottom of our feet and our hands and in our ears that correspond to our body organs. And similar to acupuncture, we are tapping on or touching on or pressing on the same points that stimulate blood flow and energy to those organs. So, and real briefly, on the bottom of our feet, we have over 7,000 nerve endings, and those nerve endings help to help blood flow throughout the body. So sometimes when I'm working on someone's feet and I'm pressing, I may feel some knots and nodules. That doesn't indicate anything is wrong. It just maybe means that there's some blockage that's going on somewhere in the body. And sometimes when people come to me, they are looking to find a way to reduce pain in the body. But what we find is that through just the feeling of being relaxed and taking care of ourselves, that there's something more usually going on under the surface. And usually it's around emotions. We know that emotions can be sometimes trapped within our body organs ourselves. So that's probably what I'm feeling in the feet as well too. So I would say that if you've never tried reflexology before, it's a great way to start to take care of yourself and on your healing journey as well too.
And this is important, guys, because I know a lot of you have told me that you've got autoimmune issues going on. This is common after leaving abuse. This is how our body deals with it. If we can't get away from the abuse, we start storing stuff everywhere in our body. So reflexology is really good for releasing. Now, I have a question. Now, when I had massage done this was like years ago when I was just starting my journey of healing and things like that. I got a massage done and I just burst into tears, couldn't figure out why.
Yes.
Does that happen with reflexology?
That sometimes does happen. Okay. And so what happens when we are pressing on a point, we can sometimes trigger emotions. Again, remember, we hold our emotions sometimes in our organs. So for example, worry, we hold in the stomach area. So sometimes someone's having stomach pains, but they can't really explain what it is. It's not something I ate, but I'm just having, chronic stomach issues, right? Fear is another one that's held in the liver. And so sometimes when we're pressing on that point and we're helping to move that energy, it is a release, right? We are releasing. And so sometimes tears may come. And reflexology is a great way as well too for the practitioner and the client to just help to really be in the space of being in the present moment, right? Sometimes when we are challenged with either traumas, maybe abuse or something like that, our thoughts, right? And we hold on to memories of that. And so the body remembers and it responds to tightening, right? Restriction. And sometimes it can affect our sleep patterns as well too. So the more that we're able to open up and help release some of that energy, and that happens sometimes with crying, kind of letting go. Anger is another one. Kidneys actually store anger.
Do people get mad when you do reflexology?
No, they don't get mad, but they kind of just like, I don't know what I'm experiencing. I know I'm experiencing something, and I can feel maybe like light pressure on some other part of my body. And those are kind of the meridians that are kind of helping sending the signal, if you will, to different areas of the body. So I may be working on the kidney area, right, in the feet, but I will have clients that'll say, I feel that on the left side of my body. I don't quite know what I'm feeling, but I'm feeling something.
Right.
But usually when they are finished, because they've been in such a deep state of relaxation and rest, they have more energy, right? So, and I have clients that have told me, I feel more energetic. My foot went down from swelling. I feel like I'm sleeping better as well too. So all of that is just a way to help you to quiet, right, your mind, your body to rest. And that's when the body actually begins to heal.
And I think that's hugely important. And I think that's something to remember when you go to see Leslie or a reflexologist or whatever. Our bodies hold memories. It is going to come out. So know that your body is going to feel. And I know that that's something that we have avoided I guess, because it's scary,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think this part of the healing journey is you must be aware, you must be, you know, ready for your body to start feeling.
Yeah.
And just, you know, bring Kleenex, you know,
Yeah.
make sure you tell your practitioner your history. If you've had a history of abuse, they kind of need to know it so
Yes,
that they know what to
absolutely.
expect.
So in Reflexology, we do a formal intake process as well too. Again, this is not a modality in which, you know, we profess to heal everything about you, right?
Right.
But it really is allowing you time to actually do the work to go within. So sometimes after my reflexology session, I would have some time to just kind of talk, right? Just kind of talk about what was going on in my life. And my reflexologist was such an intuitive, spirit guided person. She was able to help me to navigate, even though we worked on the body, right, and the mind, but we also had an opportunity to talk and to share. And I think that's an important part because I felt though as though nobody was listening to me, right, in my everyday life. And oftentimes people would come to me for advice and support, but I had nobody to go to, right, when I needed that.
Right.
So it's a way to, and that's part of the session as well, too, is that you get to talk about and express yourself in maybe a way that you would not be able to do with your family or friends. So it is definitely an exchange, not just of how we're working with the energy through the body as well, too, but just overall to voice what's actually going on.
Absolutely.
And how we can express that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So speaking of which, so you were saying that to calm the mind.
Yes.
And so that's where Yoga Nidra comes in. So Yoga Nidra is another technique, and I love it. Talk about it.
Yeah. And so I just am getting my certification now in Yoga Nidra. And the one thing I love about Yoga Nidra is it is actually, and I'll explain what that is. Yoga Nidra is sleep. It's sleep yoga.
Sleep yoga, how fun is that?
Yeah, sleep yoga. But it is at a point where we are such at a deep state of rest. And I'll talk a little bit about our brainwave patterns when we go into that. We actually can get down into a state of bliss. And if people don't know what bliss feels like, you will when you do Yoga Nidra.
I love it.
But so we have so many thousands of thoughts, millions of thoughts sometimes throughout the day. And our brainwave patterns are such that when we are awake and aware and we're functioning and we're going about our everyday, our brainwave patterns are in what's called beta. That's really the best way to describe it is the number of thoughts per second that we are having, or per minute, if you will.
Let's stop on that for just a second. Okay, guys, how many thoughts per second do we have?
Yeah.
Seriously, when we're coming out of abuse, when we're healing, when we're trying to get through all of this stuff, how many nasty thoughts are bombarding us on a secondly basis? So this again is part of mindfulness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and one other thing, she is a Reiki master. I just wanted to point that out. We're going to talk about Reiki in just a moment, but I wanted to say she's a Reiki master. So this woman knows her stuff. So
and so when we have all those negative thoughts, right, that are going through our mind every day, right? Sometimes we call it mind chatter.
Yes.
So what Yoga Nidra does is it helps to quiet those thoughts so that we can really get down deep into a state of rest and relaxation where we actually have no thought. And that actually is possible, to have no thought. We are aware and we are awake during your Yoga Nidra, but our bodies have basically let go, right, of all expectations. The thoughts that we're having as well too are reduced. And we do that mostly through a guided meditation. So while you're in a rested position on the floor or maybe in a chair, we use a zero gravity chair as another one. You're comfortable on the floor. Maybe you have your props, your pillows, your blanket, whatever is going to make you most comfortable while you're in this state of lying still. And you're going to need to be still the entire time. I am helping to facilitate taking you down really into a deep state of relaxation where your mind has an opportunity to rest from its thoughts. And while we are doing that, and through listening to my voice, we're working with an intention. So if your intention is that I want to experience where I have to be in control of a lot of things, or even just the negative thoughts, right? That I'm not good enough or I'm not worthy. We're going to set the intention before we actually have you lay down, that we're going to work on just being in the space that I am enough. That's it. That's the intention that we're going to set. And then once we begin the guided meditation, your body, right, is going to, through breath work that we're going to be doing as well too, help you to release and let go even more. So once we get you down to, and then we're brain waves, we're moving down from beta and we're moving down into alpha and then theta brain waves. And that's where we really can get the most rest. When we're in REM sleep as well too, we're doing dreams. So it may seem like through the use of metaphors and things like that, our minds are seeing images, but it's actually just helping us gradually take us down even further.
That is so
into
cool.
that deep state of relaxation.
And it really is awesome, guys. I did a meditation. I don't think it was yoga. I don't think it was yoga nidra, but I did a meditation where it took us to the theta waves.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I saw the coolest shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like,
yeah,
wow, purple and stars and all of this stuff. What the hell? I mean, it was very, very cool, and it's very healing.
It is.
And I have a question. Can people do yoga nidra like through Skype with you? Can they do that?
Yes, absolutely. You can do yoga nidra through Skype as well. And in fact, it's just really whatever place that you feel comfortable with doing, we can certainly do that as well too.
So I want to take a moment. Leslie, if we can put her stuff up so people know how to contact her. You can contact this woman through Skype. I cannot counsel people across state lines, but she can.
Yes.
Also, Susanna Quintana at SusannaQuintana.com and Sarah Picaro at RewriteYourLife.com, I think is what her thing is. So these three ladies can do Skype. They can do, I don't know about phone. I don't think you could do yoga over the phone.
No, it's
but
really
Skype, you know, Skype for her, but the two other ones can do phone and Skype. So I want to make sure that everybody knows that you've got somebody you can call. So you're not alone, guys.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Fantastic. I love it.
And there's even more to yoga nidra. So we can go even further, deeper into what's called delta brain waves as well too, and that's where people can experience like out of body experiences. They can see they can see their angel guides. And here is where bliss is. Yes, and that is in the silence. So you are aware because you can still hear my voice as I'm speaking to you, but your body is doing absolutely nothing. Right, and so. The benefits, though, of psychological benefits for yoga nidra is that it increases melatonin and oxytocin in the body as well too, and endorphins. So often when we're in high stress situations or trauma, our bodies are in this fight or flight. And when we're constantly in fight or flight, right, anxiety, things like that, our bodies, right, begin to respond. And that could look like pain, chronic pain, sometimes in the body as well too. But what we want to, and we have increased levels of cortisol too that's going on in the body. Right. So when we can get to a state where we are deeply relaxed, right, we help all those levels to kind of balance or come down as well too, and the body can begin to heal, or even regeneration of cells in the body. And so that's why people experience, or what they say is that they experience something that was light. It was no pressure, right? I didn't feel like I had to do anything. I just was in a state of deep relaxation. Well, even though my mind was still aware of what was going on, it was like my body left the building. Right. And the mind was calm. Yeah, exactly. Like it went from to chill. And so I like to explain as well too how hypnotherapy kind of is similar to that as well. So in hypnotherapy, we're kind of like turning off the left brain, and that's for those the technical term of, kind of limiting, right, those thoughts of our cognition in terms of logic thinking and reasoning, and we're flipping it off more to the right side of the brain where we have more creativity, things like that. And so in hypnotherapy, we are actually offering suggestions to the subconscious, this listening. The subconscious is really kind of running the program of our life, right? 10% of our thoughts and everything are around conscious that we use every day, but 90% of what's happening to us and around us and things that we're experiencing are really held down in the subconscious, right? So that's 90%. So sometimes we're not even aware of some of the things that we do, right?
Or think.
Or
Yeah.
why we think the things. Some of it are beliefs that we brought from childhood as well, too.
Mhm.
And so with hypnotherapy, we're actually kind of cleaning out the file cabinet, if you will, of the subconscious. We're taking out the old thoughts, negative beliefs, things like that, and we're replacing them with good files, right?
Good.
The things that are positive,
Good.
right? With Yoga Nidra, it's more of like an ongoing practice, but we're balancing both sides of the brains, both left and right as well too, so that we can bring homeostasis, harmony back to the body. Because when we are out of harmony, when we're not feeling right ourselves, or we're not balanced in a way, even not just so much in our thinking, but we're just balanced out of in our bodies ourselves, then that's where disease can set in.
Literally,
come into our body.
Disease.
Yeah.
Dis-ease. That's what it is. The
Yeah.
body is at dis-ease.
Yeah.
It's not at a state of relaxation. It's not a state
Right.
of comfort. And when we've been in abuse, it's hugely important to get back to that balance that Leslie's talking about, both with the brain and the body, mind, body, soul. It really is.
It is.
We're going to take questions in about 9 minutes. So if you have a question, type question and then your question after it, so that the guys can figure out what's a question, what's you guys just talking to each other. So I also want to talk about Reiki. So I don't think people understand. Now, you're a Reiki master. What is Reiki, and what does it? How does it affect the body? What does it do?
So Reiki is absolutely a Japanese technique that is really Reiki. The word Reiki is REI, is spiritual or sacred.
Wow.
And the key is actually energy. So it really is combining with the spiritual energy that is within all of us, right? It is actually balancing that as well too. So what it does is it allows you to move energy, if you will, in a way that is positive. So again, if you remember, we talked about how sometimes our emotions, right, are held within our organs, and that can really cause a block, right, of how we express ourselves or not express ourselves, right? And so sometimes it could be where our emotions have just kind of taken over us. It may seem like that, and we're don't know how to process or things like that. And so really Reiki is a way to just to help to move and being balanced to the body as well too, through the energy work that we're doing. And I like to call it, so I grew up in Christian faith, right? And we would often have laying on of hands, right? And people would receive healing, right? Or they would feel like an energetic release or of emotions, things like that. It's really the same thing. It's really the same thing.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it really is. But it's actually a time where the practitioner and the client, we're just holding space for someone. So sometimes emotions can release as well too. Some people cry
all of these
as well.
modalities.
Yeah, with all of them as well too.
Yeah.
But again, it's allowing that space of knowing who you are, and that really truly, and even with Yoga Nidra as well too. Who are you, right? Learning more about who you are, bringing you back into the place where God has you already, right, and is holding you, but bringing you back into the fold of that, so that you are more confident. You know that you are worthy, right, and really living that life,
Yeah.
To and how you present yourself to the world as well too.
Exactly. And a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder targets have a very hard time staying in their body.
Yeah.
So these modalities, all of them help us stay in our body. And when I had Reiki done, it was almost like she literally just laid hands on me and was like balancing, and you could feel it. It was like,
absolutely.
one hand here, one hand on the knee. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm like, oh. So it's really, it's important, guys, because we have a very hard time staying in our body. And you get with the right practitioner that you feel comfortable and safe with. This is a great way to start practicing in a safe environment, getting back into our bodies and feeling.
And we can actually perform Reiki on ourselves. It's really too about intention, right? I want to feel better in my own body. I want to be mindful that I'm here in the present moment. I'm not back in the past, which I can't do anything about. And I'm not looking into the future, right? I'm just really staying in the present moment. So I actually practice on myself as well too. It's just really around the, our chakras, which are energy centers of our body, and just actually bringing energy and awareness to that area as well.
Absolutely.
It's beneficial.
And it's really hard for us to do. And we're going to actually address that because somebody had a question about that. It's hard for us to stay present. It's hard for us to stay focused, and it's hard for us to kick all those hundreds of thousands of thoughts out. So all of these modalities, I think, are valuable for survivors of toxic relationships, abuse, domestic violence, etc., because we get a lot of mistaken thoughts and mistaken beliefs that we've got to work on. And if we had a childhood that was filled with, physical abuse, we've got stuff going on in our body that we're not even aware of. Like I said, I had the massage and I burst into tears and I was like, what the fuck? So it makes perfect sense. So I want you guys to consider different modalities. Therapy is great. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do and it's great, but I can only take you guys so far.
It's a compliment.
It's a compliment.
Actually, yes, absolutely.
And it does help if you're going to both a mental health therapist and to a Reiki master, a Yoga Nidra master, a Reflexology master, a hypnotherapist master. That's why I keep talking about Leslie and Sarah Baccaro and Susanna Quintana. And it's like, the different modalities help, and not every modality works with every single person. I've had some people go,
not for everyone.
Some people are like, Reiki, not for me, but they do Yoga Nidra and they're like, where's this been all my life?
It's really about finding what works best for you, right? What you resonate most with. Absolutely. And it's important to check out your practitioner. It's like, talk with them, have an introductory session where you just kind of like, okay, here's what I need. Here's what I've been through. What's your thoughts on this? What's your, what's your spirituality like? What's your, because if you're like, super non-religious and they're super religious, that's not going to work. It's like, you need to find somebody that's going to jibe, just like a counselor, just like when people come in and ask me questions, it's like, okay, well, this is what I do. This is what I am. Do the same thing with your practitioners. And they're not going to be offended, guys. We would rather you ask questions. Yeah. And I actually have physicians who have referred patients to me because they've kind of taken them with, medications and things like as far as they can go.
Right.
And so now they're saying, work with a holistic practitioner that can help you, maybe to reduce your breath meds or whatever. We're not saying
or maybe get off of them eventually.
Exactly. Eventually, you still follow your doctor's, recommendations, right? But maybe there's something else that you can try. And we're seeing where actually science has caught up with the my instructor for Reiki was saying where science has caught up with the woo.
Thank God.
Yes.
Because, medication is not for everybody. And I've got some clients where they're like, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. It's not working. It's got bad side effects, etc. And that's when I go, now we go into Eastern meds.
Yes.
Now we go into holistic.
Yes.
Because we have to in the energy work and things like that. It's like, if something isn't working, instead of keep trying to put a square peg into a round hole, go try something different.
Exactly.
So, okay. And now we are on to questions, it looks like. Okay. And this is a good one because a lot of people have this issue. Oh my God, technology, what am I doing here? Okay. Question. Relaxing makes me nervous. How do I keep my thoughts quiet?
So it's interesting because you said relaxing makes you nervous. It's important though that when we have so many thoughts going through our mind every day, that we just become aware. So sometimes we're not even aware of why we're having a thought, right? We know that we're having the thoughts, or we'll be hearing other people tell us things, right? So it really is important to. This is more inner work, I would say, and looking at. Listening to guided meditation is very important in it, that it helps us to tune in to something else besides what we're thinking. And so I think if you practice, or if you, and meditation is a good way to do that. But meditation actually is a practice. You can't just do it one time and think, oh, my thoughts
I'm enlightened now.
Yeah, I'm enlightened. But meditation is a practice, and that if you do it every day, it's kind of like a gentle way to help you kind of release some of the ways that you're thinking, or what you're thinking about, and focusing more on the spiritual aspects of it. So I would say, if you're nervous about it, try maybe a 1 to 2 minute meditation a day. Right. And then kind of build your way up from there. I started out, when I started meditating, I would fall asleep. Right. It was just like, okay, did I actually meditate, or did I actually went to sleep? Right. And so I had to start off with just doing a 2-minute meditation. And it really was all around how I was feeling. Oh, I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling tired, or I'm worried about something, or maybe I was struggling with my forgiveness or something like that. So there are a lot of apps that you can download onto your phone or your computer that can kind of help you get into the practice of meditation. And then you can build up from there. So now I'm up to, I can sit for 30, 35 minutes, right? And really go through some mantras, and that I'm telling myself in my head, so that I'm not having those thoughts. It's okay to have the thoughts that you have, but we need to know where to put them while we're doing meditation.
Right.
It's okay, the thoughts will come, but then we move them. No, have a seat. And I'm going to focus on this right now. So I would say breathe so that you're not nervous. And then just start with a little meditation. It will definitely help you.
And from a psychological standpoint, it makes me wonder if it was not okay for you to relax. Like with a lot of abusive parents, what they do is, crack of dawn, they wake up, they start, banging pots and pans, and it wasn't okay to sleep. It wasn't okay to relax. It wasn't okay. So you may want to find out what is the root of that. Why does relaxation make you nervous? What's the fear? Where is the fear? Where did you get the message that relaxation was not okay? You may want to write yourself a letter. You may want to journal. It's like, well, okay, I feel nervous relaxing. Why? Why do I feel nervous? When did I first notice this? How old was I? So a good book for that might be the Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. Go back through and try to figure out, or CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. There's a reason why relaxing makes you feel nervous. Something happened. Because in a healthy, normal family, there's balance, and there's relaxation, and there's work, and it's okay. And there's not this, no, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't. So journal. And I love what Leslie said. When your thoughts start going, what? And they're going to, because I know mine did when I first started meditating, you just breathe. And you think of it like the ocean. It's like, okay, you're breathing in and you're letting the thoughts go out with the tide. So it just, you don't invite them in. And our big mistake is that we invite them in for coffee, and the sons of bitches stay for lunch and possibly sex. So it's like you just I'm sorry, did I mention I have a weird sense of humor? So, when the thoughts come in, you don't invite them in. You just acknowledge them, validate them, but let them go out with the tide. Don't take them in. Don't play with them, basically. It's going to take practice. It's not going to be a one and done. It's going to take practice. It took me years to go from, a minute of meditation up to, 30, 45 minutes, and being perfectly okay with that. So, all right, next question. I have a lot of things to do. This is a very similar question. I have a lot of things to do. How do I be okay with finding time to work on me?
Okay. And my students struggle with this as well. Time management, right? we have a lot going on in our lives between work and family and home and things that, even exercise, finding time to exercise. But trust me, there is time in your day. We just have to find out where it is. And so I often offer the advice, just start looking at or writing down what you do from the moment you get up in the morning to the moment you lay your head down to go to sleep at night. Even if it's just for a week, write down. I get up, I have breakfast, right? I start doing my computer work or answering emails, getting the kids ready for work or school, in the morning. Just write down, right? Think about what it is. And when we can actually visualize and see it on paper, okay, so between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., I'm waiting for the kids to get out of their practice or something like that. Or, I've got a little bit of time where I'm eating, right? But I'm also doing something else. I'm multitasking. Because when we can really look at what we are doing with our time during the day, probably we've got some gaps in there in which we can find time to take care of ourselves. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is a self-esteem issue, believe it or not. It's like I always tell people, everything always goes back to self-esteem. People who love themselves make time for themselves. Yeah. And even when we've got crazy busy day and we've got kids and we've got spouse and we've got work and we've got, family and this, that, and the other thing, we create time in places. So for example, you're out watching the soccer game. You can sit there and do a mantra while you're watching that. You can do both,
you can do both.
And something I like to tell people is, okay, when you're taking a shower, imagine the shower washing away all of the negative energy.
Exactly.
And it's like a 20-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute kind of thing. I would stay in the shower all day if I could, but you just wash it off. And that's a meditation in and of itself. If you are finding that non-permission, kind of like that other question, figure out why. Why is it not okay for you to take care of yourself? And if that's an issue, it's time to start working the Self-Esteem Workbook by Glenn Schiraldi. There's another great book called You Are Badass. I believe there's a workbook with that as well by Jen Sincero. And that's another great one. But you're worth it. You're a walking L'Oreal commercial. You are worth it. And don't forget that. So you grab whatever time you can and remind yourself it's okay. It's okay. You must take self-care. This is a part of self-care, guys. Yeah. This is a part of self-care. Okay. I'd like to start a group for people to talk and exchange uplifting experiences who suffer from CPTSD, chronic illness, and other challenges. What's the best way to do that? Well, it depends on whether you're going to do it in person or whether you're going to do it online. If you're going to do an online group, my recommendation would be to make it as a private group, not a public group, a private group where they have to fill out a little questionnaire and you decide what the questions are, to kind of screen people. And that you absolutely have a dedicated monitor, somebody who is adminning that site 24/7. So, because you don't want some freaking, narcissistic troll to come on there and say horrible things to people. That's one thing that I have seen happen with online groups. So you absolutely want to have a private group. You want to make sure that it is monitored 24/7 and that somebody is watching for trolls and that you ban them and report them if they show up to that group. If you are doing an in-person group, you need somebody to be a group moderator. So like somebody who's going to be able to make sure that everybody gets enough time to share kind of thing. You may want to align yourself with either a life coach or a mental health professional.
Coaches, a professional will definitely help to kind of facilitate and keep everybody on track. Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the best way to do it. So talk to life coaches in the area, see if they'd be willing to do it, see if they'd charge. I'm sure they will because it's their time is valuable. But, if we can, do it so that it's affordable so that, everybody can get heard and have a place to vent and things like that, that would be great. So yeah, I would say talk to a life coach, talk to a mental health professional if you're going to do it in person. If you're doing it online, make sure it's a private group. Make sure you have a dedicated admin that is going to be watching comments 24/7 because you don't want some jackwagon coming on there and, fucking things up. Okay. Are these techniques good for young kids? Mine are 7 and 9 and have trouble talking in therapy, and I'm looking for an alternative.
Absolutely. So reflexology is for all ages, even babies. And so one of the things that I do in my practice, especially for new moms, is to teach them how to where the pressure points are on the feet when babies maybe are colicky or they're not sleeping really well as well too. So it's good for all ages. I would say for yoga is actually good for children as well too, because it's helping to train them, right? When they're having issues or concerns, or they're anxious, or they just don't know what to do with their emotions. Yoga is an excellent way to help them to still and to center and to ground. So I would definitely say get kids into a yoga practice as well too, and even meditation. And they're showing the science is showing where kids have even increased concentration and focus when they practice meditation. So begin the practice in your own home. Invite your kids in, and it may be difficult in the beginning because kids, are busy and they want to do things and they can't sit still. But the more they see you doing it, the more that they will want to be involved in doing what mommy or daddy are doing as well too. So,
I agree.
absolutely.
I totally agree. And they've shown, study after study has shown that the classrooms that incorporate meditation, the kids, even the ones with ADD, ADHD, have a better chance of success than the ones that don't, that simply just, throw medication at them and yell at them and scream at them. It's like, how does that help? I don't know. I mean, medication I can see helping, but yelling and screaming, no. So, if they're working on meditation, it does help them, and make it fun. So a lot of what my clients do is they have a special room or a area of the living room that they have made into that sacred space. They have a little fountain, and they have flowers and the little gong and the bowls
music,
and music.
Music and sound is a great way to kind of help. I'll talk about that as well too. It's a great way to help children. So we're all energy, right? And our bodies resonate off of a frequency. And when we are in low vibration, and that's usually around those negative thoughts of low self-esteem or fear or worry or stress, right? We are vibrating at a lower frequency. And so we want to elevate our frequency, our vibration. And the way that we do that is to do good things for ourselves, right? So that we can experience peace and joy and happiness and fulfillment. And the way that we can do that is through sound. So I actually use sound with the crystal bowls and Himalayan Tibetan bowls as well too in my practice for reflexology. I start off all my sessions bringing in the sound, the vibration. 528 hertz is the actual sound, the vibration of love. And so the more that we can invite that energy, that high vibration frequency into our room, our bodies are going to respond to it, right? It lifts our vibration. It lifts our frequency so that we are happier. We do feel well, our own well-being. So yeah, you can definitely do that with your children and get them involved with learning how to play the bowls too, or the instruments, whatever you have.
And I think that's really important. And this is what Buddhist monks do, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist practitioners do, is we have the bowls. And it's because it does raise the vibration. And it's so funny because when I go in for massages, like my massage therapist is Diane Brown, and she always has the gongs and the stuff, going and stuff.
Awesome.
And I swear to you, she starts working on me and I'm like, I'm like, out. It's the best thing ever. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Sound is very, very important. And I think that I'm glad you brought that up, because a lot of people were like, oh, well, my ex used to listen to like this, heavy metal / rap that was like, fuck you and blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh God, people, you cannot listen to that 24/7 and have a good attitude. So it's really, garbage in, garbage out.
That's absolutely
right.
That's absolutely right.
Be careful what you bring into your body. Be careful what you bring into your space.
And if you don't have, those, bowls, you can look up on YouTube, right? They have sound
meditations,
meditations with frequencies that you can play throughout your home. throughout the day. You can do it at work,
Mhm.
if that helps you as well too.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you've got a stressful work, yeah, taking a 5-10 minute break and just
Mhm.
instead of going out and smoking,
Yes.
listen to the soothing sounds
Awesome.
of a river with some bowls,
That's
you
right.
know? And I don't mean bowls of weed either. I mean like bowls, like, ah! So yeah. Okay. Anything special to consider for people with CPTSD when doing reflexology?
I would say no, and just I would there's nothing clinically that would definitely stop you from reflexology, and really I would just say it's more about being more open minded to it as well too, and knowing that this is something that you're doing for yourself, right?
Mhm.
It's something that you're doing to take care of yourself, your health, and that you deserve to be well. So anything that you can do to get to that, and that may just mean, you know what, I need 1 hour to just rest, to not think about anything, and to do something good for myself.
Mhm.
Um, and I think overall that's going to help your your mindset as well too, and
Mhm.
exactly what it is, because if you're constantly in a situation, and Chris, you can tell about this as well too,
Mhm.
where you're in a war zone basically of
Mhm.
bombarding thoughts, negative thoughts, emotions, and things like that. Again, your body is going to respond.
Right.
And so we want to have a healthy response, and
Mhm.
that is we want to allow you to relax, right, enough so that the body can heal. So I would say
Exactly.
that there's no really special considerations except to just have an open mind to it.
Right.
Mhm.
And remember, you are going, this kind of leads into the next question. When we have been abused, when we have PTSD or CPTSD, and working with veterans is a passion
Yes,
of yours,
absolutely.
in
And
all
first
of these, and
responders.
first responders, so
Yes.
firefighters,
Yeah.
police, et cetera, EMTs, all of
Yeah.
these people see a lot of horrific things. And when dealing with veterans, it's the same thing. Flashbacks, nightmares,
Yeah.
all of this stuff. And so reflexology can help with all of this. You may experience things popping up like we talked about earlier, and this kind of leads into the next question, so I'm going to blend the two of them together.
Okay.
I'm using yoga for healing after a divorce.
Awesome.
Sometimes when I'm doing yoga, I start to cry for no apparent reason. What is going on, and does this happen to others going through the same thing? Yes.
Yes.
So one day I was in
Yes.
a shoulder stand and I just burst into tears, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I released something. So, and I don't mean like, physically, but it's like it released something. So here I am in the shoulder stand, and all of a sudden I'm like sobbing like a 2-year-old. And I'm like, oh, I need to do some work on that.
Yes.
Like, what is this about?
Yeah.
So
And crying is actually a very healthy a release. In fact, I learned, I did not know this, and maybe many of you didn't know this either, is that when we cry or when we release our tears, there is a protein that is actually found in our tears that helps with lessening our stress hormones. So crying is good. It's
crying is
therapeutic.
cathartic.
It's very
Yes.
therapeutic. And so cry.
Yeah.
And that is another thing about holding space. And, we often say, oh, no, don't cry. Don't cry. We don't want you to cry. Yes,
Yes, we do.
we want you to
We do.
cry, because when we're able to release, right, those emotions, right, when we talk about those cortisol levels, right, in our bodies, we're helping to reduce those so that our bodies aren't under so much stress anymore.
Right.
That kind of we go from fight or flight, right, and we want to go to rest and digest. And so the more that we can rest and digest, right, the tears are going to come. And
Yes.
I would encourage anyone who has not had a good cry lately to
Don't have a good
let
cry.
it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even good to just go scream, or to hit a
Punching
punching bag or something like that, to release,
Yeah.
right, that anger.
Mhm.
So I would say that is a normal, healthy response that you're having, and you shouldn't try to stop it.
Agreed. So going back to the question previous to that, is there anything to consider for people with PTSD doing reflexology? You're going to feel. you are going to feel. You're going to have a lot of releasing. You may have anger for no apparent reason. You may have sadness for no apparent reason. You may cry for no apparent reason. Same thing with doing yoga. Basically, any of these techniques are helping you to let go. Let go, let go, let go. Crying is cathartic. Every single mammal on the face of the planet tears up when they feel pain, you know, and supposedly we're the only ones that do it when it's emotional. I call bullshit on that. I think all animals are emotional. So, you know, we tear up when we feel pain. And when we have been through a domestic violence situation, a parental unit that was abusive, you know, whatever, we're going to be releasing. And so basically the best thing I can tell you is you're going to be releasing. Bring Kleenex. Be prepared, get a journal, keep it with you, jot things down. And the journal doesn't have to be like, you know, Dear Diary kind of thing. It can just be like, did yoga, burst into tears when I did this position. Wonder what that's about. You know, or it could be, did reflexology, had a lot of energy, but felt really angry. Wonder why, you know? And so then that's your cue to then go back and start working the mental health aspect of it. So again, it's like, these technologies, well, they are kind of, they're technologies. These techniques really meld well with the mental health stuff, because sometimes we start the work on the outside in, and sometimes we start the work on the inside and then out. And it's really important to do, I think, both. You know?
And, you know, I'd also like to say, too, that reflexology isn't a one-stop quick fix, right? You really need to give it that time, right? And spending, like I said, it took me 2 years coming to my therapist every 2 weeks, but that was my commitment to myself that I was going to do this. And as I kept coming, I kept noticing things were changing about myself. Like I started setting up some healthy boundaries, right? With people that I worked with or with family members. I was no longer acting and behaving the same way. And I had an awareness around that, and I noticed. And so my reflexologist would say, how are things now? How are things now since you've, you know, started coming to your sessions? And that was the time that I got to communicate. Well, I've noticed that I no longer put up with people's yes anymore. You know what I'm saying? I am more confident, right, in my abilities and whatever else that I'm doing. I love myself, right? So those are the things. So it's not just something you come one time to do and it's going to solve everything.
It's not a one and done.
It's, you got to keep coming, right? And yes, there are things that are going to come up. Maybe the pain that you originally came in for, like your stomach pain or your back pain or something like that, you may notice, okay, my back pain is not gone, but now I'm noticing, you know, that, you know, I'm not as worried anymore. Right. Or maybe a relationship that you are in, you are no longer allowing certain things to happen anymore. Right. You're more stepping into your power. And that's another thing reflexology will do as well, too. It will really tool you in such a way where you are able to show up in a different way in your life.
Totally agree.
Right. In a positive way.
In a positive way. Yeah. So somebody was asking, you know, can abuse cause autoimmune? Yes. Can it cause fibromyalgia? Yes. Can reflexology help with fibromyalgia? Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. And so, you know, when we have disease states in the body, right, it's right in some cases because our cells, right, are either overproducing or not doing something that it should do. And so by using these modalities, we're actually helping the regeneration process of our cells, which in some cases can be linked to cancer. And I'm saying we're curing cancer, but I'm saying we are seeing, especially in hypnotherapy and guided meditation, where clients have had positive responses when they're going through chemotherapy and radiation. And in some cases, healing, where the body actually can do what it is set up to do, and that is heal yourself.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And remember, guys, when we have been abused, especially when we have been through childhood abuse, right? You know, if there was physical abuse involved, if there was mental abuse involved, if there was both involved, we get all of these messages about how our body is not okay. on so many different levels. Like, if they're sexually molesting us, we get that message. If they're beating the crap out of us, we get that message. If they're calling us names, we're getting that message. So we get all of these mistaken thoughts, mistaken beliefs. And again, like Leslie says, they lodge in our body, and our body is going to respond. So we're going to get autoimmune issues. We're going to have fibromyalgia. We're going to have other issues going on. And it's super important to start honoring your body. The best way you can do the big fuck you to your abusers is start taking care of you. Yes, seriously. Absolutely. Like, really pay attention to your body. Really honor your body. Really, I love my body and I want to take care of it, and I am taking care of it. And it's okay to have a body, and it's okay to be sexual, and it's okay to be a female, and it's okay to be a male, and it's okay. Again. Do you see where I'm going? So a lot of this work, yes, reflexology absolutely can help. It's not going to be one and done. And it needs to be combined with really working on those mistaken thoughts and those mistaken beliefs that the abuser shoved into your head that are absolutely not true.
Not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I think we are almost out of questions. It does look like we are at the end of the question. If you have any more questions, people, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
So is there any last thoughts you want to give on all of your modalities that you do? Or
I would just say, start something simple, especially if you don't know much about it. Reflexology taught me so much. And so part of what goes on in a session for my clients is I do a lot of educating as well too. So sometimes we'll just look at diet as well too. So there's some life coaching going on as well too, but really getting a full picture of understanding, what it is that you are trying to accomplish. And if that is, I want to be in better health, right? I want to feel better. I want to have healthier thoughts. I want to repair my relationship. I want to get out of a relationship. And how do I do that, right? So reflexology is a great way and a great place to start. Meditation, I would definitely say start practicing as well too, because that is definitely going to help you with kind of getting out of that mindset, the monkey mind or the negative thoughts is right, to start that process as well too. And then give the body time to rest, right? Yoga Nidra is a great way to do that. And I'm actually starting some classes here within the Valley where I'm leading Yoga Nidra as well too. And so you can find that on, I'm on Instagram at Soul Healing Reflexology AZ. And you can look up all the information that way as well too. I'd love to have folks come out and experience it as well too.
That would be great. So, and if you are out of the state or if you are in another country, she can do Yoga Nidra with you.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. Also, you can contact Susanna Quintana at SusannaQuintana.com, all one word, or Sarah Picaro at rewriteyourlife.com. So these are all wonderful women that you can work with. And yeah, they do work with men. So yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Somebody asked me that. I was like, yes, of course.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, women are not the only ones that get abused. It can be in same sex, it can be in, heterosexual relationships, it can be, it doesn't matter. Abuse happens, male, female, mom, dad, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, it's like, if you're needing help and if you've taken your journey as far as you can mental health wise and you need to take it to the next level, contact these ladies. Contact these ladies. They can work with you. Okay, wait, do we have one more question? Dreamscapes. No, I didn't catch the question about dreamscapes. What was the question about dreamscapes? Oh my gosh. See, because I don't look at the thing next to me. It's like, because Chris and John do all the questions.
What was the question?
Can you send me, IM me, whatever the question on dreamscapes is, and I'll answer it in a different Q&A. So let's do that. So anyway, I want to thank Leslie for coming all the way out here, and she is available, and she is what?
It's just a question. Why do they keep dreaming of their ex over and over again?
Oh, that's a brilliant question. Let's answer that. Why do I keep dreaming about my ex over and over again? Okay. So think of it this way. Because of the intermittent positive rewards, okay, it's an addiction, right? So they get us addicted. I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you, I love, 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 hate, 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 love, hate, love, hate. And we start living for those times when they're kind to us. So when we finally go, we're done, our brain goes, where the heck is my heroin? Where is it? And so we dream about them because it releases endorphins, dopamine, serotonins, the feel-good chemicals. So that's why it's important that you keep aligning yourself with, this person is not good for me. I do not want them in my life. Thank you, brain, but this person is gone. You write them a goodbye letter, like a goodbye letter, like a good fucking bye letter. Like, dear ex, here's the good, here's the bad, here's the ugly, here's the horrific. And at the very, very end, you take your power back. You have no power over me. I know my brain misses you. I know it misses the endorphins, dopamines, and serotonins. However, I no more want you than I want fucking heroin. Fuck you. Fuck the dog you rode into town on. Fuck the fuckity fuck out of fucking fuck you. Goodbye. And then you take it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once, and burn it and let it go. And you've got to keep reminding your brain, my drug is no longer here. This is the same thing that happens with addicts. So when we stop using, right, stopping alcohol, stopping heroin, stopping oxycodone, whatever, we do the same thing. It's called a drug dream. It's called a drug dream. So we get that stimulation from dreaming about them. It does not mean that you need to be with them. It just means that your body is going, where the hell's my drug? And that's not good. That's not healthy. That's why you need to write them a goodbye letter and let it go. Abso-freaking-lutely. So that, yeah, absolutely. And do self-care. Do the yoga. It doesn't have to be yoga nidra. I love yoga nidra, but it can be any kind of yoga. Anything. Yoga is great. I love yoga. It's awesome. And yeah, you will get release. You will find yourself crying or laughing hysterically, or, you know, especially when you do the poses where everybody's farting. That's the funniest. I'm just like, oh my God, I forgot about that. So, so have fun with it, basically. And just allow. Okay. I want to thank Leslie again for coming out. You're awesome. Thank you so much. And if you guys need help, Leslie, Susanna Quintana, Sarah Picaro, these are your people. This is your tribe. So yeah, so start working on the outside in. Do the inside out. It's like, do both. All right, guys, I've got a ton of requests for shows. I have no idea what the show is next week because I have to go through and figure out which one I'm going to do, but I will let you know. So thank you very much for tuning in. You guys be good to yourselves and each other. And I will do a show next week on one of the ones that you guys have sent in requesting. I think that's it. All right. Be good to each other, and I will talk to you. Where is my thing? Oh, also, don't forget, Washington, D.C. is at Union Station now. Union Station in front of Dunkin' Donuts. And that should have been changed in the Eventbrite, so that's that. And that's it. All right. And if you care to purchase my books, they are available on Amazon. Oh, they're there. Hello. Oh, hi. There we go. So, yes, there it is. Anyway, thank you, Leslie. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Da, da, da.